All right, this is Friday, August 27 lesson. All right, example 2, find the slope. Okay, slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is simply y equals mx plus b. This is a useful form, okay? It's solved for y. It gives you the slope. Remember, m is slope, and it gives you the y-intercept. This is useful for graphing or just identifying the slope. So what we're going to do is change each one into that form. Can I zoom in on this? Okay, I don't know how. Let's see if there's a way. Don't know. All right, so let's go. So I'm solving this for, let's pause it. All right, we zoomed in, all right, find the slope. So we're going to use the slope-intercept form. Once we got that form, then it's easy to identify the slope. So solve this for y. So the only thing getting in our way is that 6. So we're going to divide by 6. But remember, when you divide something, you're going to have to divide each term. So that gives me y equals, and I'm going to go ahead and reduce that. 8 over 6 is 4/3. And I don't really care if you reduce this one, because that's not going to matter, but I'm going to reduce it because, well, I'm just used to it. All right, so if you're having difficulty reducing, so here, both numbers are even. I'm talking about the 8 and the 6. I divide by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 6 divided by 2 is 3. I cannot reduce that any further. So my slope is 4/3. Okay, that's example A. Let's look at example B. All right, example B. Again, I need to solve this for y. So the x is in the wrong place, so I'll move x to the right. So negative x, that's going to give me 4y equals negative x plus 2. Well, the 2 does not have an x on it, so all I end up doing is just putting them next to each other. The 2 is positive, so that's why I put plus 2. Now divide each one by 4. All right, recall, if you don't see a number, or if you just see a negative sign, that same thing as a negative 1. So I'm just going to put negative 1 over 4x plus 1/2. I reduce the 2/4 to 1/2. So my slope is negative 1/4. Okay, that's it. It's the coefficient of x, and that's my slope. All right, moving on. C. Okay, again, I want to isolate the y, so I got to move the 3 and I got to move the 12x. All right, so let's get rid of the 3 first. So that's 12x minus 20y equals 2. Subtract 12x. Don't forget, the 2 here does not have an x on it, and this one does. The negative 12 does have an x on it. So I cannot combine those two. So I just put them next to each other, separated by whatever appropriate sign is. It's a plus sign, so I'll put a positive. Yeah, that's it. All right, now I have to continue to isolate the y, so I divide by negative 20. All right, reducing the negative 12 over negative 20, that's going to be 3/5. I divide the numerator and denominator by negative 4, right? Negative 12 divided by negative 4 is positive 3. Negative 20 divided by negative 4, negative positive 5. All right, see if you can figure out how I got 1/10 there, although this one's not particularly important. The slope is 3/5. Is there a shortcut? Sure, but practicing solving for y is a good exercise. All right, moving on. D. Ooh. Okay, this time I have fractions. Well, let's get rid of the fraction. To get rid of the fractions here, I'm going to multiply by the common denominator. The common denominator is 6, right? The common denominator of 2 and 3 is 6. So I'm going to multiply each term by 6. So that's going to give me, so 6½ reduces to 3, so it's 3x. And 6⅓ reduces to 2, so I got 2y equals 6. All right, and then I'm going to move the x over, so subtract 3x from both sides. I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't have done that. Well, it really doesn't matter. Positive 6, so plus 6 divided by 2. That's the same thing as negative 3/2 plus 3. Right? Negative 3/2 is the slope. Oh, make sure you answer the question. Don't just give me this. Right? This is the slope-intercept form of a line. I will not assume that you know that negative 3/2 is the slope. You will have to point it out that negative 3/2 is the slope. Continuing. Example E. Solve this for y. Now this one, if you see the pattern, it is perfectly all right to just give me an answer instead of doing all this work. Okay? So what do I mean by that? Whenever you see an equation that has no x, notice this has no x. So essentially it's y equals 0x minus 3 because the x is not here. Then your slope is just 0. So if you looked at the original problem and then you told me m equals 0 straight off the back, I am okay with that, right? Because there's no x, so the slope will be 0. Same reasoning for f. In fact, there's not much I can do. There is no y. If there is no y, then the slope is undefined. There's no shortcut thing here. Even if I divide by 6, I get x equals 7/3. There's still no y. Nothing really happened here. If there is no y, the slope is undefined. And so you didn't miss much Friday. That's it. That's it for Friday.